Hey guys, welcome to Film 360, the Full Circle Film Show. We've been on a hiatus for a few months, but we're super excited to be back and bring you some of the great, awesome film content that's coming out of Utah. So tonight, I am
Hey
really
guys,
excited
welcome to
because we've
Film
got some films in
360, the
post-production,
Full
some
Yes.
films
Yeah.
Circle
in
Film
like the
Show.
musical
We've been
stage,
on a
Yeah.
and
Yeah. We're
hiatus
hope. Yeah.
to bring you
Thanks again
some
for having
of
us
the
on our show. Yeah.
great,
Yeah. This is great. First,
awesome film
to be here.
content
And
that's coming out of
so
Utah.
I'm Devin Hansen.
So
I'm the
tonight,
writer and
I
director.
am
Cindy here
I'm
was
looking
my co-writer.
forward to this
And
because we've got a film.
Yeah, I'm Cindy Manwill. I wore a couple different hats for this film. Like Devin mentioned, I got to play Sonia, who's the lead. I wrote a song. Well, I didn't write a song, but I recorded a song for it, and I wrote a character for it.
Anyway, we've got the
Yes.
filmmakers here.
okay,
Do
so
you
the
guys
first
want to
question I
take a
like to
sec
ask with a new
just
film
to
on the show.
introduce
We have a big
yourself?
variety.
Yeah,
So we'll do a full budget film, a low budget film, a shoestring budget film, or a
Shoestring.
no budget film.
Well, so the whole production was actually a non-paid production, but we actually had a sponsor to help us out with it, and he actually is a good friend of mine, and he actually helped us sponsor my first film, Bigfoot at Mill Creek, and he was the one who kind of got me into acting, and kind of gave me the doorway into the film industry, because and it was interesting because film was the last thing that I ever expected to do, because I thought it was always impossible to get into, and so I took the opportunity, and I kind of gained my own experience throughout the years, working on set, working with professional actors, directors, producers, and just kind of transition over to writing and directing, and with making Stalker, I was able to meet the right people at the right time. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Now, the trailer,
so,
by the way, looks
okay,
awesome.
so
Take a
the
look at
first
that.
question
Thank
I
you.
like to ask
And
with any
honestly,
film
the
on the
trailers
show,
I often see
we have a big variety.
Yeah.
usually not
So,
well
were
made.
you a full budget
Here's to that.
film,
So,
Oh, thank
a
you. Yeah.
low
let's
budget
take a quick
film,
look at that
a
trailer.
shoestring
Stalking is the unwanted or obsessive attention from one person to another. Millions of people are stalked in America every year. 1 in every 6 women.
What's up, baby girls?
Stalkers usually have certain patterns and cycles they go through.
Any sign of the guy?
You've all heard about that neighborhood stalker that's been terrorizing us.
It's been all over the news for the past few weeks.
Investigators say the attacker is on a statewide crime spree, attacking single women.
I'm the neighborhood stalker.
Did you? The first question I have when I watch this is that original music? Was that music made for this?
Um, Actually, no. So that was just some trailer music that I found on YouTube, and I kind of just merged it together to make it kind of my own thing.
Yeah.
And I actually had made the trailer because I kind of wanted to give a sense of the reason why people, why some people are out there who stalk, and kind of wanted to give a little bit of more of the why reason behind the trailer. But yeah, like just to kind of show out everyone, who's in it. We had Charlotte Bokikio and Monica Moore Smith and Stephanie Barr, Bob Ador, who's a great friend of mine, and
Yeah, I've worked with several of these guys before. They're awesome
yeah.
actors and actresses, and I've had a ball working with Charlotte in particular. I've worked with her several times.
She's great. Great.
She's fun to work with. Monica used to, of course, be on the show.
Yeah.
Those of you who watched before.
Yeah. I actually met Monica on the set of Saturday's Wire. That's how we first met.
Oh,
so.
really?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, and so it was funny because I had no idea who she was, and then when I saw Saturday's Wire, and I'm like, she's a really good actress. Like, like this is really cool.
Good. So, Cindy, how did you get involved?
Let's see. I think, well, Devin and I kind of live in the same neighborhood, and word was starting to go around that he was writing this, and like he mentioned, we had our sponsor, but a lot of it was just, people volunteering their time, and he approached me, asked me if I wanted to be in it, and I was totally down, because up until then, the only acting experience I had been theatrical and on stage, so I was excited to try something new and get into film acting.
Yeah. And she killed it. She did awesome.
Shucks.
So based on the trailer, I feel like this is a horror movie or possibly a thriller. How would you classify it?
Well, so as far as the film goes, it's slightly horror, but more, we kind of wanted to lean more towards of a thriller and suspense. And the reason why I like those genres is because they seem to really grab people's attention.
Yeah.
First as a drama or a comedy, you kind of have to be like in the mood for those, and but I was always drawn to to thrillers because they seem to grab people's attention just really, really quick, and right away. And so I kind of thought this would be something that that people could possibly relate to, that it would really grab someone's attention because millions of people out there have been stalked and have been in really terrible crazy situations and stuff.
What would you say is the biggest obstacle each of you faced, either in the full scale of things, whether that was in pre-production, post, or throughout production?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Have you got one in mind, Cindy? I find that for a lot of people it's the money, but you guys had a sponsor, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
In terms of other actors, or I don't know, music, what are some of the things that have been the hardest to bring together?
Well, I think just overall in general, I never thought it was really hard to try and get everyone together, but just the whole thing, it was just the whole concept of getting this done, because we were trying to shoot for Sundance, and and so because we started our production in March of last year. Can you believe it's last year?
I know, yeah, a year already.
Yeah, March of last year we officially started production, and we finished up in about the second week of September, hoping to make it into Sundance. But eventually, we actually hit the deadline by 24 hours within the deadline of Sundance. So we were able to, to luckily submit, but Sundance was, but that was, we actually had to make the late submission, which was a long shot. But hey, but we tried,
I would say the same thing too, yeah, that the most difficult thing was working with that time limit, because we did want to submit it to Sundance. And yeah, kind of like you mentioned, it's hard to get everyone's schedules lined up, and we were filming it every week, which sometimes it was the highlight of my week. Just it was such a good community getting everyone together. But yeah, it took a span of 6 months, and so by the end I remember it felt pretty chaotic, the last few shoots, just trying to get it all done before that time limit. So that was a pretty difficult part.
6 months is a pretty long production schedule. I mean, unless you're accounting for seasons or doing something unusual like that. So, why did it take 6 months? Did you guys shoot just on weekends? Did you shoot? What was your schedule?
Well, I wanted to to spread it out because because like I knew that we had some some really busy actors who were doing their own thing or or who were in other productions and projects and stuff, and so I kind of wanted to. I was trying to make it feel non-rushed, as far as spreading out our production to 6 months because I knew that with each day of shooting that, that we could really take our time, when we were filming our scenes, if there was some dialogue that we needed to change, then we could take, that we could really take the time to fix stuff, on the spot and not have to redo some stuff. We only, surprisingly, we only reshot a couple scenes just one day out of all the 6 months. So that's how efficient we were. So
Cool.
try to be.
So what about? I'm curious about the sponsorship. So, saying that your project was sponsored, and you don't have to share any details, obviously.
No.
You shouldn't. But, what did that mean exactly? I feel like that could look like a lot of different things. So what did that look like in this case?
He's one of my good friends, and like I said before, he is a great friend, very generous, and just and just kind of just wanted me to pursue my my dreams, in my career as a filmmaker, and it's just great to have that support from him, and so that kind of gave me more of the motivation to to be a team player because because it's not about one person who's doing everything. It's it's all about just coming together and just working together as one. Being a team because because the way that I try to direct is I try to direct the way that I would want to be directed. Kind of like the golden rule. I try to respect people as much as I can. And be open to their opinions and respect them. And I think that's why people had such a great time on this project because I wasn't one of those directors who was who was trying to be the even though I was the finger pointer, I still was able to get along with my crew, with my lighting and and sound and audio and everything, and and as well as my actors.
So this question is for you, Cindy, which is there's various kinds of directors, but the two that I tend to run into the most are the dictator director and the collaborative director. I like both for different reasons, and I've had both that have gotten great results. Mm-hmm. What kind would you say Devin was, and how did that shape the production?
No pressure.
Definitely a collaborative one. Very open to hearing everyone else's ideas, not trying to dominate the set, which I think worked out really well. That's, I think, one of the biggest things I've learned from you, Devin, because when I think about producing, my own projects that I do with music and whatnot, I tend to kind of make it a little bit of a one-woman show. But yeah, I like the collaborative style, getting ideas that you wouldn't have thought of on your own. And that's definitely the biggest takeaway that I got from working on Stalker was definitely the community, everyone working together. Some of the best friends I have in the industry I have thanks to this cast and this production.
I agree. Yeah, and because I've been there, as an extra, and I've seen the way that directors collaborate and how they work, and some directors were really strict about what they wanted, and they were rude to their actors, and I'm like, how could you do why would you do something like that? And so that blew my mind, and but I'm just glad that I was able to give the respect that because everyone was helping me out with this project, and the one thing that I could give in return was my respect and my gratitude, and because I believe when it comes to directing a cast and a crew, everyone should be treated equally. It's not about the extras get the scraps of the table, and all the actors and the cast, they get the buffet table. It's everyone should be fed equally, whether you get paid or not, everyone should get paid equally, and I kind of stuck with that because I try to direct the way that I myself would want to be directed. And so, and it was very great to hear everyone's opinions, and if they had something that they wanted to change, I would go, oh, like I didn't think of that, like that'd be great, that'd be awesome. And it was great because I came to respect those who were working really hard on this project.
Awesome. I find that directors, especially of lower budget or no budget projects, the ones who treat their cast well are the ones who people want to come back and work with again and again.
Yeah.
And it's I love that about this industry, that it's a very collaborative place, and there's kind of a place for everybody who wants to be involved.
And
so.
and one thing that I've learned too, that it's not very common out there. It's rare, and and so I just kind of wanted to give my crew and my cast just a great experience, the same experience that I was that I was having to make this this great project, this film. So
real quick, we're just going to take a second. We're going to say thank you to our sponsors who are allowing us to do this show. So we will be right back. Okay, welcome back. There's a question that I think is really important. I like to ask this question to every guest, but really every industry friend or even foe that I come across, which is what advice would you give to somebody who wants to kind of follow in your path? Having been where you've been, what advice would you give someone?
I would just say, just stick with what you want to do, and if you know the right people who can help you, don't be afraid to ask for help. And just there's a lot of talented people out there, who want to do the same thing. Whether it's acting or writing or directing and producing. Everyone, there's so many people that have a passion for it. And I think if we just meet the right people, they'll take you to the direction that you want to go. And that's, from my experience, that's been a great blessing for me, because our director of photography was great camera guy, and just like he knew his angles, he knew his photography, and he did a beautiful job with our film. And I think if we just know the right person, and if you know someone who has a camera, that's and and a boom mic, and then you're all set. So and just get together with come up with a fun story, and tell it, through film, or if just even if it's something small, like a short film, just start with that.
Yeah. Gabe Guerrero, he was our DP, and he was awesome. Let's see, for people who'd want to follow in these footsteps, I think, networking, making friends with people, and honestly being a decent person, being professional, treating people nicely, because it's a small community, and word can spread like wildfire, so just make sure that you're treating people nicely, and working hard. There's like that well-known quote that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So definitely just trying to be consistent. That's something I want to work on myself as well.
Excellent. Yeah, I think networking is probably the most neglected thing, that they don't teach it to you at film school. Mm-hmm. They just expect you to build a network while you're there, but nobody in my entire college education ever said a word about how crucial networking was going to be.
Yeah, yes.
They hinted at it, right? And maybe you experienced that. They'd be like, oh yeah, your connections are everything. But they never taught us how to network. They never taught us who to network with. So what would be some networking tips that you might give?
Well, it's funny that, that's a great question, because Cindy and I are actually both musicians.
Okay.
I'm a drummer actually, and I started playing when I was about 3 years old, and thanks to my uncle, who is Dan Whitley, he actually kind of taught me that, growing up through the years and performing wise, and like you got to find gigs, and I'm like, how do you find gigs, and it's like you got to keep asking people, you got to keep performing and get your name out there, and so thanks to him, I've kind of followed his path, as a musician. Well, not now, well, as a musician, but now as a filmmaker as well.
Yeah. I'd also say, well, as creatives, if you're a filmmaker, if you're a photographer, or musician, whatever you do, just, trying to be consistent with your work and always sharing it, because that's kind of what catches people's eye, makes them want to reach out to you, or vice versa. That's how you reach out to other people. Joining those online groups can help too, just getting to know people's names and reaching out.
Okay, this question is, I'm a little fascinated with this. Most people who I know who went into film, they started out wanting to go into film pretty young. And you said you were a drummer.
Yeah.
But where did you start? Where were you working? What were you doing before you started this journey?
So so I had served an LDS mission. I'm in Arizona, and I had met several people, surprisingly, who were. I actually met a stunt guy who was a double for Mark Wahlberg in Invincible, and that got me really fascinated. I'm like, wow, that's so cool. Like what was he like, and he kind of and we just met him at this park somewhere, and we just got talking about movies and film, and he was kind of saying the same thing. It's really about who you know. And at the time when I was serving, I didn't really believe that, because I'm like, well, you gotta know someone really professional to do something like that. You can't just sign up for it and be in. And so I just kind of shrugged it off a little bit, and some of the members that we went to, this other guy was actually an extra in Saints and Soldiers as well, and he was telling me about this part that he was in. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. But when I got home, here's the interesting thing that I haven't really told anyone about until now, actually. When I had given a talk when I was home at a stake conference with President Eyring, actually, and in our stake was the actor Scott Christopher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so. And it was really neat to meet him. I'm like, oh yeah, you're that guy in the ORM, in the best 2 years, and and so that kind of opened. So I think he kind of opened up the door for me, because he just got me excited, because it was kind of fun. It was fun to see him, as a dad, and and as an active member in the church, and doing a side job to support his family, and I thought that is so cool. That is so neat to for someone to to do that, to do what they love doing, and then they're off camera they're just they're human.
Yeah.
And so then I met some friends on my ward who were actually I guess one of them had gone to film school, and we just got together with a couple of friends, and we made a short film. That was kind of just to see what I wanted, to get a feel for film a little bit, and then and then after that, I thought, okay, I had my fun. That was my 15 minutes of, to get a little bit of it was like, I wrote a little 16-page script about a guy who finds, who has a daily routine, and he is given this coin by this homeless guy who, and the coin is, it actually brings you bad luck. So after he found this coin from this homeless guy, he actually, he was late for work. He was, everything bad, would possibly happen, and I thought, oh, that would make it kind of a fun little weird story, but we went with it, and I had fun making it with some friends, and then and just one day I was working at my job, and met our sponsor, and so that kind of opened the door for me even more. So thanks to him, that kind of gave me a chance to pursue something that I didn't really expect that I would pursue until now.
Cool. Awesome. Well, there's one last question. I always like to hear about these, which is, and this is for both of you, favorite and or least favorite days on set, and why?
Why? Well, probably a better question for you first, since you're the lead actress.
My favorite day on set. There were a lot of fun days, man. Out of 6 months, I can think of a specific one. Okay, I guess I'll start with my least favorite. So, it had to have been near the end when things kind of felt a little scrambly. We were trying to hit the deadline, and I remember there was one night we were going kind of late, and there was like this one scene where everybody had like their own idea of how they wanted it to go, and that was just really chaotic. And I think it was one of the scenes that I wrote, and so I had like a specific idea of how I wanted it to go, and it was just so frustrating, like everyone saying 5 different things. I think that was my least favorite day. But we pulled it together, and it was kind of fun. It's just one of those funny memories you look back on, like, oh, remember when everyone was like pitching ideas and it was going a million different ways? But
and we were getting anything. Yeah, nothing was happening. We weren't getting anything done.
Oh, or that time, where we had to shoot that scene twice because our DP wasn't there one day, and so another guy was filling in, and the footage didn't look the same, and it wouldn't have been congruent with the rest of the footage, and so we had to shoot that one twice. Yeah, that was fun. But I think my favorite thing was probably a character that I wrote for Eric Osmond. Have you worked with him?
No, I haven't met him.
Okay.
Great guy.
Yeah. Nephew of Donny Osmond. He always makes that known.
Yep.
But
within the line of fire.
Yes. I wrote a character for him, and he just knocked it out of the park, and he and his partner Megan, who's one of my best friends that I made from the movie, I think it was my favorite thing to write that and watch it come to life and watch them like breathe life into these characters that were just a figure of your imagination at one point. Seeing that materialized was probably my favorite thing.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite, favorite.
Yeah, I would have to agree on that too. I think just like overall, just being able to write something, and to see it actually come to life, and and saying like, and just kind of wondering if it all makes sense, like did we do this right, just. But I think one, I won't say like the least favorite, but it was the most difficult days to get through. It was when we were shooting the ending of the film. And we were actually running out of time because, and so we were actually shot. We were trying to get, we were trying to I can't think of the word. We were trying to slim the script down, to from what it was to something really simple. And I remember we were trying to come up with with ways. Well, what if this way would work? To make this situation or scene go faster. And that was when we shot until about 2:30 in the morning. But I remember it was a great feeling to have that. To have the whole entire ending of the film, done and completed. No, there was no turning back. But like, but it was a very long night, and everyone worked their butts off. And I can't thank you guys enough, for everything that you guys have done for us, and well, for me, but for just everything in general, for helping out, and but I think every day on set was really fun. I made sure everyone got fed, a decent meal, and whether if it was snacks or just a couple of drinks.
Caterer sometimes.
Yeah. We had a great guy, who brought us food from his work, or his brother's work. you know, and he was able to feed. So.
Awesome. Okay, we got to get wrapping up, but one important question is, where can we learn more about the film, and where and when might we be able to see it?
We did an online interview with Kimberly Adamson.
Okay.
She reached out to me out of the blue, and she actually did an online review with me and Cindy, and you know, and asked us questions about the film, and so it's off of the TV series Guy Take One, or you can just Google my name, Devin K. Hansen, and you can find the article there, and you know, learn more about it. But as far as the film, we're hoping to have it shown in theaters. That's kind of the dream right now, you know, for people to see it and you know, kind of understand the, you know, the dangers of, you know, of going to the extreme to stalk, you know, someone.
Yeah, we also have a Facebook page. I think it's Stalker the Film, and you can watch the trailer again on there. There's some BTS stuff on there. There's a review.
Yeah.
We got a review that was pretty cool. You can read that on there as well.
Fantastic. We want to say a special thank you to Creative Stream for letting us film in their studio. This is a great space, and if you've got a film project, they've got a fantastic green screen. They've got tons of lights. They've got it's a great setup in here. So you can check them out, Creative Stream. So again, thank you so much to them, and thank you guys for watching Film 360. If you've got a film project and you'd like us to talk about it on the show, please reach out and let's get you on. Otherwise, we'll see you next week on Film 360. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank
for being
you.
with us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.